Hello everyone, my name is Frank Provenzano, and I'm going to be doing a demonstration installing Vlans and their associated ports on Cisco's packet tracer. So after the slideshow, we're going to do a demonstration of installing Vlans on packet tracer and assigning their ports. A little bit about myself. My name is Frank Provenzano. I'm going for Computer Information Systems part-time. My lab partners are Mark Conte and Majid Kafash. Mark's going for Computer Information Technology part-time, and Majid is going for Computer Information System Information Tech part-time. And we're going to the community college, and our professor is Sonny Chang. He's helped instruct us through the whole process, so I'd like to thank him as well. Let's get started on our slideshow, and we'll finish up with a Cisco packet tracer demonstration. Vlans and some of their benefits. You can see that Vlans can help reduce cost, improve network security and performance, provide easier management, as well as ensuring network flexibility. Vlans also bring security benefits to larger networks by allowing greater control over which devices have local access to each other. We're going to be setting up three Vlans for 3 different racers in our lab. Again, we'll do a demonstration setting up Vlans and packet tracer after the slideshow. Hold on while we get ready. Alright, before you begin, you have to have Cisco packet tracer installed on your computer to proceed. Below are some great links for getting Cisco's packet tracer and familiarizing yourself with it. Please look at the next slideshow and configure your PCs. We'll configure the switch and its Vlans together. Take a look at the list here. This is what we're going to set up in packet tracer. We're going to have 8 computers, 8 PCs. We're going to have one 2960 switch. They're all going to have the same subnet. And we're going to name the PCs and Vlans on the diagram. And importantly, don't forget to connect the straight through Ethernet cables to the right ports on the switch. Okay, so here's our diagram in Cisco packet tracer. This is our lab. You want to configure the lab look just like this. You want to use Racer A as an example. Computer Racer A1 is connected to port 1 on the switch, and this is going to be the IP assignment on computer A. Each one has a computer assignment. We haven't put the Vlans in yet because we haven't configured the switch, but set your lab up like this, and when you get done, come back to the slideshow or continue to the end and then come back. So once you've configured your packet tracer, we want to click on the switch itself, and what that's going to do is it's going to bring up some tabs, and we're going to click on the command line interface tab. At this point, the switch is going to load some software. You can click anywhere in the middle of the switch when it's done and type enter. And it's going to bring you into user execution mode. And this is an indication by the switch pound sign. If at any time you want to go back to user exec mode, you can just hold Control Z and it'll bring it back to this mode. It's beginning mode for the switch. Okay, at this point we're going to just type in enable, and that's going to put us into privilege mode. Privilege mode is good for viewing configuration and troubleshooting purposes. It shows, like, you can show your Vlans, you can show your interfaces, you can show the running configuration of the switch. Just really good to be able to observe what's going on without making any true changes to the switch. Okay, so at this point you're going to type in configuration terminal, and that's going to put you in global configuration. You can type in config term for short. This is the mode where you make changes on the switch. This is where you can actually create things and change things around on the switch. Global configuration mode is that mode where you can actually physically make changes to the switch. So for instance, we'll name our switch ND500. We'll put it in configuration mode, and we'll type in host name, space, and then ND500, and as you can see, it changed the switch's name to ND500, and then it's got config pound, and you're still in global configuration mode. we want to configure interfaces ports of the switch for 3 different VLANs. See how. Let's go to the next slide. And we've only put 8 computers up on a 24 port switch. We're going to assign 8 VLANs at a time, so if the customer ever wanted to add computers to a department, he could do so. And this is how we're going to create our VLANs. We're going to be in global configuration mode. We're going to type in VLAN 10 and then hit enter, and you'll notice it goes from configuration mode to config-VLAN. Now we're in the VLAN mode. We're going to name each VLAN. We're going to name Racer A. Then we're going to type in, hit enter, type in VLAN 20. We're going to name it Racer B. We're going to hit enter. And we're going to type in VLAN 30, enter. And when we get all the way to the end, we're just going to type end. And then it's just going to put us back into privileged mode. Okay, so we can see what we just did while we're in privilege mode. We can type in show VLAN brief, and it'll show us the VLANs we just created, Racers A, B, and C, VLANs 10, 20, and 30. And you'll notice VLAN 1 at the top, right here, has all the ports associated with it. It hasn't been configured yet for our ports, so haven't been configured yet for our VLANs. VLANs 1002, 3, 4, and 5 are all default VLANs. You can't change them, and you can't delete VLAN 1. It's the default VLAN. Okay, so now that we've created our VLANs, we want to assign the ports that are associated with those VLANs, and we're going to do it with the interface range function. And the range function is really great because you can assign multiple ports to a VLAN. Instead of doing it 24 times on a switch, which can be time consuming, you just use the range function and you can assign multiple interfaces for each VLAN. And to do that, we're just going to type in interface range, INT for short range, and FA, short for fast Ethernet, 0/1 to 8. We're going to hit enter. And you can see that now it says config if range. We're in the range function here, which is really awesome. Type in switch port access VLAN 10 and push enter, and then follow the diagram to do VLANs 20 and 30. And when you get all finished, you're going to type in end. And if you notice at the very bottom, I've shown you ND 500 pound, which puts you in privileged mode, copy, running config, startup config. And this is to save the work that you just did. If your switch ever powers down and you don't burn it into memory, you could have a upset customer, or you'd have to redo your work if you lost power. So periodically you want to do the copy, running config, startup config. It's really helpful as you're working, so you don't lose that work. So now we're going to do a show VLAN brief, and we're going to see our VLANs and their associated ports. And you can see that Racer A, VLAN 10 now has ports 1 through 8, and Racer B has 9 through 16, and Racer C has 17 through 24. VLAN 1 only has gigabyte 1 and 2 now, so that default VLAN doesn't have all the ports anymore. Everything's separate now, so anything between 1 and 8 can only communicate with VLAN 10, and so on. We hope you enjoyed the slideshow. Let's get to the good stuff and see how it works. So we're going to open up our packet tracer now. And let's open up our lab. Okay, so now that we've opened up our lab, we're going to configure our switch, and we're going to follow the exact same thing we did with the sorry about that. We're going to do the exact same thing we did with our slideshow, and this is basically going to be us doing it together. We're going to set everything up together. So let's click on the switch, click on command line, click anywhere on the switch and hit enter. And now you're in user exec mode, so we want to go into privileged mode. So we're just going to type in enable. And now we're in privileged mode. And as far as programming our switch, I did it already previously, but we're going to do it all over again. So I'm just going to type in, let's do this. Let's type in host name. We're going to type in our name for our switch, and we're going to do a config t. And let's rename our switch. So I'm going to type in host name Frank. And right away you can see right here it says Frank. I'm going to bring it back to Indy 500. I'm going to type in host name Indy 500 and just press enter. And now we've renamed our switch. So it's great to be able to change the name of your switch, so you know which switch is what. Let's actually start doing our enabling our VLANs and creating names for them. So I'm going to type in VLAN only, and I'm going to make it VLAN 10. I'm going to hit enter, and you can see we're in VLAN mode now. I'm just going to name our VLAN Racer A. And now I created my VLAN for Racer A, and I named it. So let's do VLAN 20, and we'll name it Racer B. Enter, and we'll go to VLAN 30 and name it Racer C. Okay, so we created 3 VLANs. And we want to go back to privileged mode, so we're just going to type in end, hit enter again. Now we're in privileged mode. So now what we want to do is we want to we want to assign our ports for our VLANs. We want to assign these ports here. So let's go to let's type in interface range, INT for short, range, and we're going to type in FA 0/128. Okay, so I didn't put it in global configuration, so let's do that first. Remember, you can't make any changes unless you're in global configuration mode. So we'll go to interface range again, and we're going to type in FA 0/128. Okay, so now we're in our range function, config if range. And now we just want to basically assign those 8 ports to VLAN 10. So we're going to type in switch port, access VLAN 10, and we're going to hit enter. So now we've assigned interfaces 1 through 8 for VLAN 10. Now we're just going to go on and do interface 9 through 16. I'm going to say interface range FA 0/9 to 16, and we're going to type in switch port access VLAN 20, and we're going to finish up with interface range FA 0/17, actually /17 to 24, and just go back to our VLAN 30 now. Okay, so we've actually created, or we actually attached our interfaces to our VLANs. So let's go back to our privileged mode by typing end. And let's do a show VLAN brief to see what we just created. So we'll do a show VLAN brief. And I'm going to make this a little bigger so it's easier to see. And you can see now that, same as the exact in the slideshow, we've created our VLANs 10, 20, and 30, and they have all their associated ports with them. And again, VLAN 1 only has gigabyte 0, 1, and 0, 2. So we've basically done everything that we had to do with our switch. The only thing we haven't done is the copy running configuration. We're going to hit enter one more time. It says building configuration. Now it's saved into the memory of the switch. Again, it's pretty important to do. So let's close this out and let's do a ping simulation and see if we can ping within our network. Let's try to ping from Racer A1 through the switch down to Racer A3. We should be pretty successful here because we've basically created our VLANs, and Racer A is in VLAN 10 and so is Racer A3. So we should be able to ping anyone in VLAN 10. So we're going to type in ping 192.168.0.3, and as you can see, we're successful. So we were able to ping from here to here. We shouldn't be able to ping any of these PCs on the right. We shouldn't be able to ping anyone in VLAN 20 and VLAN 30. So just for testing purposes, we're going to try to ping. Let's try to ping Racer C3, and we're separated now because we're in different VLANs. So we should be unsuccessful at pinging Racer C3. And as you can see, there's a delay. It's unable to communicate with Racer C3, and that's why VLANs are really great for the administrator and the customer. You got a 24-port switch, and you can separate that network into separate VLANs, so each department cannot communicate with the other department. So that's it. We're all finished. I hope you enjoyed the slideshow. Have a great day.